Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to my colleagues and to the members of the committee, I offer my apologies for being tardy. I was off campus giving a speech. It did allow me the opportunity, though, to hear Governor Parnell's comments on the radio and to hear yours, Senator Begich. I appreciate the level of detail that has been laid before the committee this morning in terms of Alaska's great potential, not only the resources, the revenues, and the jobs that are created. We know this story well, and so the opportunity to be able to share that story with our colleagues is important. So, Chairman, I appreciate you scheduling this hearing this morning. I appreciate your efforts to come north, see for yourself, and help us advance this very important cause. And as much as I am happy to be here to give my thoughts, I will suggest to you that it is unfortunate that we're still having this discussion about whether to develop the 1002 area in Alaska. I think it should be more appropriate that we discuss when and how to develop this incredible national resource. I want to say a few words about the Fish and Wildlife Service's so-called Comprehensive Conservation Plan, or the CCP. As a threshold issue, I find it both misguided and, as an Alaskan, somewhat insulting when the federal agencies continue to look for ways to lock up additional wilderness in Alaska when Alaska doesn't want it, and when the law plainly says no more. It couldn't be more clear. 3 separate provisions in the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act, ANILCA, made Congress's intent on this matter very clear, and yet our federal agencies can't help but keep going down this same path towards more wilderness review. And for what? The draft CCP cites a, quote, symbolic...
Senator, could you put the microphone a little bit closer?
Yes.
Thank you.
How's that? The draft CCP cites a symbolic value of the refuge and states that, quote, millions who will never set foot in the refuge find satisfaction, inspiration, and even hope in just knowing it exists, close quote. Well, Mr. Chairman, I would suggest to this committee that millions more would do well to find jobs. I'm not sure who's in charge of quantifying the value of satisfaction inspired by knowing that something exists somewhere, especially set against the hundreds of billions of dollars in federal revenues that we are consciously foregoing by this exercise. The draft CCP seems very much at odds with itself beyond just that. After going through the legal gymnastics to try to skirt the no more clause so that considering the coastal plain for wilderness review is back on the table, it acknowledges, although begrudgingly, that the 1002 area contains almost 40,000 acres of lands that are not even suitable for wilderness designation, even if such a designation were legal. So compare that number. You got 40,000 acres within the 1002 area, which the administration concedes is not even eligible for wilderness protection, with the mere 2,000 acres, which Congressman Young's legislation and my Senate bill would authorize for development within that same area. And keep in mind that the 1002 has also been subject to exploratory drilling and all of the motorized equipment that attends to that activity in the past, and yet somehow or other we're being asked to believe the irreconcilable argument that drilling now would cause the area to lose its character, even as technology has improved in ways that Congress could not have even contemplated when writing the law. This year we had unrefuted testimony in the Senate Energy Committee which spoke to the truly amazing technology advancements in seismic acquisition data, the directional drilling, enhanced oil recovery with specific application to the 1002 area, all of which would lend substantial reassurances of a minimally intrusive development program with no lasting impacts if we're only allowed to access. Members of this committee, here we are with the federal government essentially broke, fighting all day, every day over every scrap of spending cuts and revenue ever conceived, when the simple delivery on a decades-old promise could render literally hundreds of billions in federal revenue without so much as raising a tax or cutting a single program. But instead of looking for a responsible path forward towards accessing this resource, the Fish and Wildlife Service looks for ways to lock it up. So I would suggest to this committee that we are witnessing a gross misappropriation of resources. When an agency's response to our nation's current debt and jobs crisis is to seek more ways to twist the law just to keep money buried in the ground, our priorities, Mr. Chairman, seem to have spun out of the realm of reality. As my colleagues have documented in terms of the jobs, the resources, and the revenues, Alaska has so much to offer. We just need the ability to be able to contribute. I thank you for the opportunity to be before the committee and want to pledge my support towards this effort in working with you, Congressman Young and Senator Begich. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.